So I was finally able to check out Air over the weekend. So I'm basically going to be able to give my thoughts and my review on this movie. Honestly, this movie was well done. I gotta give it up to Ben Affleck and, in his directing and of course the writing and all that. Really, this movie was definitely like character driven or story driven. And honestly, it basically plays out like an underdog story. This movie does take place in the 80s, so it is definitely the 80s setting. They give you the vibe of the music throughout the movie with the soundtrack. News reports, they actually show news reports that were having during the 80s. Different basketball highlights. And just things that you just see during that time during the 80s. This movie is definitely a movie for Michael Jordan fans or, fans of the Air Jordan shoes. Definitely a must watch for them. The way this movie plays out, it really relies on how the knowledge of Michael Jordan or what he accomplished, what he done, in like future reference to this movie. We know that Air Jordans are big time shoes nowadays, but this story really goes as an underdog story to where Nike is not the name and brand that we know today. And this shows the story behind how it got to that. It shows the process. It shows the creation basically of the Air Jordan shoe. Now, even though we know the results and the outcome of what happened in the future and what happened with Michael Jordan and the Air Jordan shoes, this movie still plays out really well to where it's like it keeps you guessing, it keeps you wanting to see what happens. And this movie is all around inspirational. Like during the middle part of the movie, Matt Damon gives a hell of a motivational speech in the middle of it. And honestly, this is just kind of an origin story, not necessarily origin story, just a story of becoming. And that's kind of stuff I like to see, like story of becoming, like these type of movies that we get. And I do like biopic movies. And in a sense, this is almost like a biopic movie. It does sort of center around Michael Jordan, but this is more about the Nike brand and the creation of the Air Jordan shoe. The cast was wonderful in this movie. I love the cast of this movie. Honestly, it was great seeing Chris Tucker in this movie also. I haven't seen him in a few years. It was nice to actually see him in the movie again. But this cast plays so well off each other. Like I said, it definitely was character driven. It definitely was story driven. And the way this cast was able to find the comedic bits in this movie and comedic timing overall, honestly, was really well done. Thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed the story it was trying to tell us. With me being a Michael Jordan fan and liking the Air Jordan shoes, this was definitely a movie for me. Definitely a movie made for Michael Jordan fans or fans of the Air Jordan shoe. So I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. Honestly, a really great watch.